Hello fellow bookworms, I'm Kitty. So let's talk about all the books that I've read in the month of March, April and May. That is, during the season of spring. So let's get right into it because this video is probably going to be long enough as it is. So let's go. In total I read 14 books, of which I had 0 1-star reads, which is a good sign. Then I had 2 2-star books, 5 3-star books, 4 4-star books and 3 5-star books. Yes, so I will in this video talk very briefly about all of the books. If you want any further detail on any of them, I have posted reviews for most of these books. So if you want to have any more elaborate thoughts of mine on these books, I will link them down below if you want to check them out. So let's start with the 2-star books. Let's get the, not so good ones out of the way. First book I read, I finished in March, is the Wind Up Bird Chronicle by Haruki Murakami. This is a very beloved book about nothing at all. I don't even remember anything about this plot. Oh no, I do. There was a guy sitting in a well and something about a baseball bat and a wife that disappeared, and it just was very boring and I did not like it. There was a little bit of like mythical, philosophical stuff in here that I enjoyed, but it was very far and few between and I don't care. Next up, I've read the second book in a German trilogy epic high fantasy book, which is called Hamas Tomb by Bernhard Hennen and Robert Corvus. I don't care for the series either. I didn't particularly like the first. I found it was, okay. It wasn't, super bad. The first book, there was some very sexist thing in the first book though that I really don't like, which continued in this book. I'm so stupid, I bought the third book already before I even started reading the first book, so I'm going to read the third book eventually, and if there isn't any kind of, thing that completely knocks me off my feet and, sways me on the series, I will not continue on with it. Oh, did you hear that? That was thunder. I just saw a lot of clouds, out in the sky, and it looked very much like there was a thunderstorm coming, so I love thunderstorms. Do you know that? Okay, let's just talk about thunderstorms for a second. I love thunderstorms. I know a lot of people are scared of thunderstorms, but I'm not. I just love thunderstorms. There's so much energy in the air, almost like you can grab it, and I don't know, I love it. You probably think I'm crazy, but I don't know. It's just me. So yeah, let's continue on now with the 3-star books. There are quite a few of these. So let's begin with this book. I don't even remember when I've read it. Graceling by Kristin Cashore. This is a young adult fantasy. The protagonist is called Katza. She's graced with she has a killing grace, which means that she can very easily kill people. And she and her love interest, who is called Poe, are going on a journey to find his grandfather. No, she already found his grandfather, and then they go on a journey to find out why he was kidnapped in the first place, I think. I don't actually remember. It was very shallow. It was okay. It was a nice, high fantasy adventure to just plunk through. It's not without any kind of fault. It's very shallow characters, very shallow world. However, it was okay for what it is. I liked it for what it is. I will continue on with the companion novels at some point. Mostly because Katza is not the main protagonist in them, because she was the main reason why I was so annoyed about this book. And also it was marketed as a feminist kind of book, and I couldn't see that one. But if you want to have any more thoughts about what I thought about that, please check out the review, which I did back in April, I think. There's another German book. One is fantasy. No, not fantasy. It's well, it's in a way it's still fantasy. It's science fiction. It's called Das Schiff by Andreas Brandhorst. If you remember, I loved the other book that I read by him, which is also science fiction. Did not quite enjoy this one. It didn't really have any kind of plot. It didn't really have any kind of compelling character that, I could connect to. It was a interesting concept, just, the execution of that concept was not very interesting. Also kind of, AI involved, and it's not like we've never had that before. So there was no real different angle on that topic, so yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but didn't like blow me out of my socks or something. Knocked me off my socks, I think. So then I read the Chronicles of Narnia Volume 1. Oh, actually I read 15 books this month, because there are 2 books in this single book. Like, there are found up 2 books in this one. It's a collection. So this is kind of a magical realm that I probably best describe as a mix of Harry Potter and Downton Abbey. Yeah. I love the world. It's an interesting world with, yeah, I know I won't spoil it. It's an interesting world, and the Chrostomancy is a person who, like, is the guardian of the magic in this world, and it's about the boys who are destined to become this Chrostomancy, because they have 9 lives and all of the other people have maybe like 1 life or 3, 4, 5 lives. Yeah. Even though it did not, it kind of failed to like draw me into it. I couldn't connect to the characters. In the first book, which is called Charmed Life, the main protagonist was just, a bit dumb and always making excuses for his awful sister, and the way she treated him was just really awful, and I thought that was a bit unrealistic. And the second book was better. I did connect a lot better with the characters, but there was something happening at the ending, and I thought that was really unnecessary and a tiny bit racist. So there's that. Oh, it's raining. It's raining very, very much. Ooh, I do enjoy. Do appreciate the rain, especially in summer, which is, obviously the worst season in the entire year. So let's talk about another 3-star book, which is Steampunk Fairy Tales, a collection of stories edited by Heather White. I believe this is self-published. There were a few stories in here which I enjoyed a lot. There are a few stories in here that are just not good at all and would have needed a decent editor and maybe a publishing house to just pull them all together and push them a little bit further into the exploration of the steampunk element in these stories, other than just scattering a clockwork mechanic into them. Yes. And then I read, or just, looked at Mary Poppins Up, Up and Away, which is a picture book for children, so it wasn't really hard to read, but it's beautiful with these cutouts, and yeah, see what I did there? Just like la 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 la, beautiful, but the story is a bit. So let's move on to the interestingest books that I've read, that are the 4- and 5-star books. Now for the 4-star books. First, I've read my first Discworld novel ever in my entire life, and I chose to start with Mort, which is the first Discworld novel in the Death series. I very much enjoyed this. It's so funny. I loved Terry Pratchett. He is such funny. Or he is an author who writes such funny stories and so absurd, and points out the many absurd aspects of life or death you know. And I really enjoyed this one. I will definitely continue on with the series. Also, it's not very, you know, it's a short read, which I appreciate. So I really did enjoy that a lot, in which, you know, in this book, Mort, Death rather, gets an apprentice who is called Mort, and he screws up Death, basically. Or screws up Death in the Discord, and then shit hits the fan and stuff happens. And I did enjoy it a lot. Just, you know, the ending was a little bit abrupt. That's the word. Another book that I enjoyed a lot is A Face of Glass by Frances Hardinge. This is a children's book. In this book, Neverfall, a 12-year-old girl, is living in this underground city which is called Caverna. In Caverna, there's this specific magic which is incorporated into food. And for example, there are cheeses who make you, you know, remember things, remember important things that you need to remember, or wines that make you forget your memories, things like that. And Neverfall lives in the city. She always has to wear a mask because she doesn't really know why. She just does it. And you know, it's about her discovering why she has to wear a mask and dealing with the consequences of taking off her masks and discovering a big secret about Caverna. And I really enjoyed it. It gave me the Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman and also Catherine Amber Lante's Fairyland series kind of feels. A mix of that, of those two. Very bizarre, very magical, very interesting. I love the writing style, it's very beautiful. I do think, however, that the first 150, 200 pages are a little bit drag a little bit, so you really have to push on, but in the end the outcome is worth it, so do recommend. And then I've read, of course, 2 of Jane Austen's novels. I read this quarter of the year Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice for my Discovering Jane Austen project, which you are all invited to join. I will link the Goodreads group down below. So far, I am positively surprised. I did not expect to, you know, be so invested in the stories and like them, because, you know, it's a romance. I usually don't read straight up romances, and you know, I mean, it's been written in the 18th century, so of course there's a different societal structure there in which women need to have husbands, and which is something that I am very glad that we don't have this social structure in our times anymore, because I would go crazy. Seriously. Thank you, I don't need a husband, thanks. I'm good. Anyways, let's talk about Sense and Sensibility. So far I've given them 4 stars each. My final rating of all the books I will probably do that in a wrap-up for the series, for the Discovering Jane Austen series, when I've read all of them, because right now I don't think I can. Oh my god, it is raining like crazy. Holy shit. There's like across from our window, there's our yard, and then there's like the stables, because I'm living on a farm, and there's just streams of water running down the pile. So much water that the drain can't even hold all of it. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. I really have to go outside now. Or I just finish up the video and then I go outside. But yeah, I will do the final rating when I finish the series. I really did enjoy it, however, and I really particularly enjoy how Jane Austen manages to write 3-dimensional characters and complex characters with depth that I can connect to, even though I may or may not like them or may not like them. But I really enjoy that, and I really enjoy how she makes me care about the main character, and I particularly find the sister relationships that I've read so far very beautiful and very, you know, I could see a lot of my own relationship with my sister in these relationships of these girls. Yeah, so 3 more books, are you ready? Yeah, let's talk about my first 5-star book of this season, which is The Gigantic Beard That Was Evil by Stephen Collins. This is a graphic novel about a guy who lives on the island of There, and on the island of There, their people live by their routine. And one day, Dave, I think his name, the name protagonist is Dave, I think, yeah, Dave, grows a hair and a beard, which quickly turns into a beard, and he can't get rid of this beard, and suddenly, you know, life is upside down and everything is weird, and the people on this island try to manage to, you know, come up with the idea how to live with this person who has this uncontrollably large beard. And yeah, I really loved it. I really loved the illustrations in here. Yep, and I would definitely recommend if you want to, you know, read a graphic novel that doesn't take too long. So then we get to my last books that I've read this season. First of which is The Girl Who Raced Fairyland All the Way Home by Catherine Amberlante. This is the last book in the Fairyland series, the conclusion of the series. I absolutely adore this. It was so heartbreaking saying goodbye to September, but you know, given this ending, I'm not even, like, it's not like it's the best ending that I could hope for, and I am so happy for this ending for September. I definitely adore this book. I will... So, I don't know what I just said because my family just interrupted me and asked if all of the windows are closed. I mean, yeah, of course. I'm not stupid. So, I don't know what I said, but I absolutely love this book. It is the best ending that I could have hoped for, and I've got it, and I will definitely reread the series. I definitely recommend to check out the series. It's beautiful, magical, and beautiful, and wonderful, and everyone should read it. And now let's get to the last book. So the last book is also by Catherine Amberlante, the last book that I finished this season. It is called Distinguishable from Magic. It is a bound up version of several articles that have been published on various websites and magazines. This is basically, they're mostly about writing, for fairy tales, storytelling, publishing, a few about life in general, and feminism, women in fantasy and stuff like that. I very, very much enjoyed it, as you can probably tell. I definitely took out a lot of it for my own writing, and actually my idea for my novel, you know, sprung from this book, so thanks for that, Catherine Amberlante. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it a lot. If you are interested in Catherine Amberlante as a person, like getting to know her a little bit more, then I would definitely recommend to check this out. Also, if you know, want to write fantasy or are invested in the fantasy genre, and if you are just generally interested in reading stuff about writing, then check it out. Definitely recommend. The review for this book will be up on next Friday. Already filmed that, so yeah, stay tuned for that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too rambly. I hope the rain and thunder didn't distract you too much. I hope you found some interesting books. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you're reading something magical and wonderful, and I will see you soon. Bye!